So in this time of year, there's a huge emphasis on setting goals and trying to uh, look to the year ahead and plan with this eager energy and motivation to make your next year better. And while there's nothing wrong inherently with setting goals, it seems to me that this whole idea of New Year's resolutions seems to cloud the entire purpose of a goal. Instead of setting a very tethered timeline, first of all, we don't typically have any idea of what the timeline of goals are going to be. And so while it's not bad to have a rough timeline, the actual time itself shouldn't be the operative variable. It shouldn't be set to a year straight or solid because we don't really know exactly how long goals are going to take. Instead of making the focal point the timeline, which would be a year, and sort of just setting the goal as being the action necessary, if we focus more on the time being a secondary variable that we use to judge kind of the progress we're making towards our goals, and focus on using systems that we're already working and putting in place that align with the identity that we want to build to sort of dictate the goals we set. And then these goals will naturally align with the identity we're pursuing and sort of who we want to become. Then the timeline really becomes secondary, and you'll find you can actually realize things faster and more effectively without having this sort of arbitrary timeline that comes with New Year's resolutions. And so the other element of that is instead of focusing on super specific time stringent goals that are very sort of invasive, like I know one thing that I see a lot of people doing is trying to do every day for a year, go to the gym, or every day for a year, eat a certain way or eat a certain meal. But things that are so sort of restrictive with time rely a lot on things you really can't control, right? You might have a day where you don't get to, um, you know, go to the gym or meditate or whatever your goal is, and so the goal is not sort of more generalized and oriented more towards just a general habit. Whenever it's so sort of strict and invasive into things you don't really have any control over necessarily, sometimes you'll have things come up in the middle of days or for full days that you don't have any sort of control over. They're sort of outside that realm. So if you focus on goals that don't really mesh well with that idea, you kind of set yourself up for failure. And of course, there's some grace that can come with that, but really just setting your goals in a different way where it's focused on habits as opposed to checking boxes off helps you to actually build progressively and also helps you to be able to achieve the goal fully. So yeah, it's just an interesting thought I thought I'd share. Basically, just focusing on, instead of the timeline being the emphasized variable, focus on just the sort of alignment with who you want to become, and goals becoming sort of a secondary consequence of what you're pursuing in action and through systems. So yeah, hope that gives you something to think about as for sort of everyone's looking towards another year, and hopefully that'll help you make better goals for the next year ahead. So I appreciate you watching. See you next time.